cruiser which explores the eastern side of the island, taking in some of the island's most spectacular views of the island and mainland, as well as serving some of the island's premier tourist attractions. In Shanklin, you can hop aboard our Shanklin shuttle bus service, which links Shanklin bus station, the railway station, Shanklin Esplanade, Shanklin Chine, and the picturesque Shanklin Old Village. Operating dates for these two services are as specified in our timetable, or you can always check with your driver or at the office in Yarmouth bus station. Inventions were the iris diaphragm in a camera and the universal joint in a motor vehicle. He was also the originator of the word cell in biology. Another of his inventions continues to work as effectively as ever in the 21st century, for Robert Hooke was the inventor of the watch balance spring. The next stop is Totland. The name Totland means protruding prominent land. The road on the left, opposite the War Memorial, will take you down to Totland Bay. This unspoiled bay is a shingle sand composite, and ideal for walkers. The bay is also home to the Waterfront Pub, which specialises in seafood and Mediterranean cuisine. From the bay, you will also see Totland Pier. The pier was completed in 1880 by the Totland Bay Hotel to attract tourists to the area. Today the pier is undergoing restoration to bring it back to its former glory and once again bring more tourists to the area. seaside. The water here is shallow and warm, making it perfect for swimming. The bay itself is 2 miles long and comprises of sand and shingle. There is also a beach shop, restaurants and deck chair hire. batteries, Alum Battery, Warden Point Battery, Cliff End Battery, Fort Warden, and coming up on the right are the remains of the extremely well-defended Golden Hill Fort. A six-sided structure, Golden Hill was a land rather than sea defence fort and acted as a barracks for the gunners manning the nearby batteries. Whilst operating, the fort even had its own hospital, which can still be seen over to your left. Constructed between 1863 and 1868, this remarkable listed landmark was used by the Army until 1962. As well as being home to luxury apartments, it is also reputed to be home to a ghost. The ghost is believed to have been a World War I Sergeant Major who was hated by his colleagues. He died after accidentally falling down a flight of stairs and breaking his neck. Accidental or not, we'll let you decide for yourselves. We will soon be approaching the stop for Fort Victoria, which is situated approximately half a mile down the lane from the bus stop. Fort Victoria was completed in 1855 to complement Hurst Castle as defence force against the threat of French invasion. By 1890, it was used as a mine depot by the Royal Engineers, and during both World Wars, the fort again formed part of the island's defence system. The site was decommissioned in the 1960s and was latterly used as a location in the BBC rendition of Les Miserables. The remains of the fort now house a cafe, along with several visitor attractions, including a planetarium, a reptilarium, one closed sweet shop, and an archaeology centre. Into Yarmouth and will shortly pass over the modern swing bridge, which opens hourly throughout the summer months to allow boats to moor in the naturally protected harbour. The Bristol Handbook to the Isle of Wight refers to a ferry between Yarmouth and the hamlet of Norton to facilitate communications. In 1858, a causeway was built across the estuary and a swing bridge was put in place to complete the link to Freshwater in 18